Okay, now it's recording. Right. So basically what we did was getting generator node Go, and we're installing it. So this is the name, functional, right? Alright. Best module ever. Homepage none. MIT. Don't know. So here there are some. I think I have to do this, right? Yeah, so we can see. So just use all of this. Nah. Lodash, yeah, no, I don't like Q. Or do I use Q? Yeah, let's go by Q.
You don't like Lodash?
No, I like Lodash,
Okay.
but I don't like Q. I prefer Bluebird or the normal ES6 from API. But I really don't like Q. The API is a little bit terse for me. Okay, so now we have this tiny little nice node module. Let's open up. Does it work?
The requirements,
Did it?
requirements are great. All we know is that for 6 lines and then one estimation block, we cover all three. Or it could be any three, each three with a completely different requirement.
Sorry, guys.
Okay. So the only thing that it have is kind of like the module, example, simple JS, right? Normal Node.js stuff. But what I want to, yeah, I like this. Oh, so what I want to show you guys is the power of thinking about functions and decoupling the code from messy if else and dot to get the inner information. It's more like getting the an abstract information on JSON and being able to look. I can return and flight using this function. So every time that a flight is present on that particular level of the JSON file, I'll always return using that function, right? So it's mostly breaking data structures, like let's think on a person, right? We have name, age, position. Position, what is position?
Like job title.
Job title. Oh.
Isn't that the most important thing about it?
Nah. Job title. Solution, blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Whiskas. Yeah. What else? Salary.
I'm not sure which gender you are.
Awesome. That's alright. And family. Hobbies. Phone, emails, right? This is more like right? Emails.
They're all flights.
Don't know.
And then as a complete piece, that's one flight. How do you go from one
That's alright.
one to 12, that's great.
For now, right? So hobbies. Video games,
Yeah, fully agree.
heavy metal,
Still an assumption.
Face planting.
face planting. That's very important. Longboard. Any similarity is just coincidence, okay? Pure coincidence. Yeah. Emails. Oops.
Unless there's too many of these to swap through, there's 24 of them, you can't get one complete. Unless you have a shortcut at the top.
Is that real?
Of course not. Man, believe it or not, my wife had her name at gmail.com. Yeah. 10 years ago. So, right, we have a person here, right? So normally if I want to know, to list the hobbies, let me just open a... don't like this.
There's another question for Fred Flight. It's the training.
Because I need to see...
Training form. Why?
this one?
Remember you asked and yes.
It's not this that I want. I want...
perform a training form. Training task in this
right.
in this flight, and I'm not performing the entire form. I'm filtering. I'm just using this part, and I'm performing the rest in the airplane.
One of the nuts.
Group
Oh,
test.
that's different.
Huh?
That's another competition.
That's the point.
That's the
another rationale for flight.
Yeah, that's where you where with the limit.
Didn't install
Flight
group.
training forms down to
Damn.
instead you have motor system for the whole body. You just have one lights and equipment system.
What I'm saying is like to know how many things a user is
Okay,
Right.
and associated
At the
to
moment,
a person.
we've only got what they've told us, right? They could have more visuals.
Yeah,
Doesn't help me at all. So...
and you're asking for a people
What I'm trying to do here is retain the sense.
Yeah.
okay.
person?
Other question?
So each flight
Jason.
That's
string 5.
So it's always an FA1. Turtle, can the FA1 change? Turtle?
Right?
You're assigned the pods. If they want to assign pods.
No way that
the aircrew within the flights can change.
Yeah.
Isn't it logging?
That's another
No.
reason why you can't do a simple copy.
Starting test, finishing test.
And so you have to
Yeah, it's not logging. So that's okay.
Yeah.
I'll just run this node. Yeah.
I guess the fundamental point I'm trying to make here is purely
Node.
list of
Example. No. Test. Functional test.
the start list.
Okay.
All the time. You've got 6 or 8 flights.
Where is the scribe? The scribe is not here. Ah, running the wrong. Sample. Simple. Right? So person, name, blah 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 blah. Okay? Now normally when we want to
Shit. No idea.
normally when we try to get the internal information from something, what we do is kind of like something like that. Console.log person.name, right? I'll just remove the stringify. Person name. Normally what we do, person.name, right? Person name Rafael, right? And when we try to list the hobbies, then we do one simple thing that is kind of like person.hobbies dot for each function hobbies hobby person, then we have something like var name. We can use the person here, person name, hobbies, right? Hobby. Ugly, but good work. Right? Person Rafael, hobbies, video game, heavy metal, face planting, and longboard. Right? This is how we normally do. But what about starting to have more semantic about that? Kind of like using var get name function person return person dot name. Get name person. What's the immediate benefit of that?
My interpretation of that is like,
Do you know anything about how persons talk to each other?
Exactly.
Don't need to follow the linear process that we are suggesting.
And if I have a data structure that have a name, but it's not a person,
Yes.
can I apply that?
Stage there, right? Yeah. And the other one is a string, which is more.
Regardless of the type of the data structure, if the format is the same, the result will be the same because it's a function. So you see, it's a very simple concept, but when you expand it, it starts to be pretty effective for everything. You know?
We're really just not referring to programming, you've just added behavior to your attributes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first thought, but it is different how we said you can
Yeah.
call it with any object.
Any object that have a name,
Yeah.
that have the same structure.
The object doesn't have the property name.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Because thinking on object programming, what is almost like a function is an interface. Almost. Because you need a class to implement that particular functionality.
Could you also say you're basically just doing the same as what you're doing before, but you just refactored it out into a function?
Exactly. It is the same.
Just refactoring.
Yeah, but it's a little bit more powerful because you have real reuse and real encapsulation. Because I don't know, I really don't need to know about the data itself. I need to try. Look, I'm trying to get the name on this particular data structure. If it doesn't have a name, it will retrieve me undefined.
expect there to be some sort of naming conventions. So what if you had two different types of persons, but when you hit the same get name method, that name was stored in a different place in person, like that object?
Then you have to create a translation function. Yeah. Then you can apply another functional programming aspect that will be currying, but then I'll get to these details later. But this is the tiny piece of functionality that we can already think about. Like, I can create streams of data structures if I combine this with, for example, promises, right? Because I can pass the data structure and I can retrieve whatever I want using functions on that particular data structure.
You mentioned that doing that is some kind of encapsulation, but I kind of disagree because for any users or whoever use the math functions, actually have to know that the things that you pass this image format, not the
Well,
so it's not encapsulation.
it is, and it's not that it isn't, but it's more about the how can I say? Because get name is something rather trivial, right? It's something that you can translate as a function, get property, where you have the object and the property, right? And you can retrieve something like return object property, right? And it will be the same as get property, as get name.
But when you're doing it in that way, what's the benefit? Because when you want to call get properly, even though you pass this is a property name, it means you need to already know that whatever you pass that property name.
Yes, you need to understand a little bit about the structure of, like, the data structure itself. But it's a little bit cleaner than having dots all over the place, you know. And when you use with promises, it gives you that ability of chaining, right? And composition as well. I think the best benefit is about composition.
Possibly be a maintenance nightmare though, if you wanted to move the neighbor somewhere else, so you have to go and find all these functions and things and update them.
That's something about scoping them, because if you have a data structure that handles, if you have something that handles data structure, because we are thinking about name, right, of a person, but think about getting the latest fire alarms, right? So every time that I need to filter out from a data structure fire alarms, and I know which level, because I always need to know the level that I have fire alarms, because I can have kind of like nested data structures, right? So normally what you use on these functions is you have a simple function and then you have another simple function to get into that kind of level to use that simple function. This is called high order function, right? Because you decompose your problem in simple functions and then you can reuse that to navigate into the data stream. It's a little bit like, oh, I don't see the real benefit, because we are a little bit thinking on object-oriented approach. I know, because I was already there, like you guys. Yeah.
I think from my point of view, because this is more because of JavaScript.
Yeah.
Because when you're used to a strongly typed functional language, then you have all the whatever you pass it, because it's a real type.
Exactly.
And you have a pattern matching. You don't have to do all this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So one thing I find like when JavaScript function is kind of like broken JavaScript,
Yeah.
broken function
Submitting these.
language.
Yeah, like for example in Clojure,
Yeah.
you have that out of the box. You don't need to do this kind of
Yeah.
artifact, you know. You just access that particular property and that's it from the Lodash structure.
Yeah.
It's the same with ES6, right? The-
Exactly. Yeah.
Git is standard delivery.
Yeah.
This is touch.
So getters are standard for every object. Setters are standard for every class, right? Because you have classes. But
All I'm saying is,
even then, when you create strings with promises, this is quite powerful, you know. I used it a lot on Air New Zealand. I will show the code after. But sometimes we had problems with that, right? Yeah. Mostly because the data structure changed it. Of course, we had unit tests that caught that, but there were some parts that didn't have unit tests, and it took a little bit of time to.
I don't really understand what you mean when you say I know what promises are, but what's the kind of problem and what's the solution for using promises with functional?
For example,
see that, could actually go straight there.
I think we have Q here, right? So if I need to translate that to another payload, right?
A little bit of information.
Like a payload that is var result, that is kind of like
Now, they might look at that and say, well, actually, that's a bastard because I've got to get this. I do 1, 2, 3, come back and roll
Sorry?
I know what promises are.
Yeah.
I just don't quite understand.
where do you
context
to
of
use
how they-
where to use promises on this context, because I was just explaining about high order functions. Like I will try to address that later because I want to first address the high order functions. And like I have this case, right, and I have this case, right, that I didn't address yet.
Because when I come here and start to
For
see
each
before and not
No, I'm not changing that. So this is Billy. Here's what.
get hobbies,
This is the screen for the sort place at the top. I can touch any one of them, go into the big screen, but I've got left and right navigation so I can swing through the time.
right?
While coming back out and setting up indicators to the rest of the page.
Right. So you can go to a shot, to a flight, and you can have a menu.
Person log value, return console dot log value. This is just to show something. It's not really this will change my life, you know. But then you can use forgot to add one guy here.
So jump through the 6, and then you can see the name now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a clean
Right.
You've still got the feedback question. To truly understand how do we get some feedback right?
Because then you decompose it.
Um,
I decompose this. Let me just remove this. Oops.
Yeah.
okay, so how does your
Decompose this into
Once you push,
some functions, simple functions, right?
yeah, at the
So
bottom they should set a-
what I need to do right now
hit it,
is kind of like create
out into a flat screen, and
like a
hit it,
stream
and that
to deal with that.
grayed
So
out. And then you
if it is without promises, it's kind of like log
so there may be room for that basic.
uh, person
So you could have a
name person plus get name, right?
Touch, it's not complete, and those are complete ones. It does at least preserve consistency of the workflow.
And it keeps consistency of down forms. That's
Plus.
the way to attack it that way.
But it needs to be ratified.
The same result will be kind of like that.
But that's enough to build a product. say, so actually, we've got here this, and you can have all this stuff up here, the main screen. Reports that the marketing history is 6 now.
It's the same result, but
That's partly that's your basic script workflow. And then you can wrap
it's just to show that functionally speaking it's the same stuff,
And that's an important question.
right?
To be asked later is, are these two tasks complementary? Do they typically occur?
So if you think about it, should be the same, right?
New person and get name.
That's
No,
our,
Person.
that's our assumption because I
No, get hobbies is just person.
Get name.
Yeah, get name person. Yeah. Ah,
that solves two of the possible, right?
so it didn't show person name Raphael. So this and hobbies undefined. So where is it getting the rest of it?
Logging the hobbies. Good turnout, lads. It's good to see you're all focused on your phones. I mean, no.
This is being recorded, by the way.
Yeah.
Good. I knew that, so I'm paying for it.
Oh, you go on.
All good?
Yeah, bro, I'll have to decide if it's cool or not.
Ooh. Unexpected token. That's alright. I'm purposely missing some functions here because we have to simplify a little bit more. Person Raphael.
So what's that, mate? It's good to contribute to the team.
For each
Much more valuable.
log hobby. Ah, right.
This will be you. There you go. Okay.
That was the issue. Right? So
That recorded too.
now it's the same thing. Now I want to decompose a little bit more, so I can call one function and call the result on that function other function, and call the result of that function other function, right? So what I need to do is kind of like mix and match this with this. Now it will be the same. In this example I cannot do the same thing because it's an array, but if I have something like translating this to something else, let's say that is a data structure like this. Customer Raphael, salary, that salary, that is bullshit. Type. Whale. Because it's a guy that's earned heaps of money and likes video games. So for me, that I'm a that I have a kind of like a game software house, he's a whale, right? So how can I achieve this kind of functionality? Normally what we do is kind of like, that's alright, let's create some more people. Let's use the same. $23?
Sure. Exactly how I feel.
The salary is the same?
Probably a few zeros short.
Okay, 1. Right. Hobbies.
Well, video games is definitely one of them.
Video games is one of them?
Yeah. Heavy metal's good.
It's
It's one of the best
Oh,
ones.
go
so-
on.
Yeah, why not? And
Why
then
not?
still longboard. Or guitar.
Guitar. Cool. Emails. Only Devin.
Right. Oh, yeah, that'll do.
You can stay with the pretty guy at Gmail.
Like a Hotmail group. That sounds a bit dodgy when you say it like that.
Very dodgy.
12? Come on, the guy have 2 kids, so it's 25. You want a solution blah 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 as well?
Yeah.
Okay,
definitely.
cool. And you?
Yeah, I'll take that title.
Okay. Salary is the same amount, right? A little bit more. Come on.
You're doing pretty well, mate. 2 kids by 12.
Yeah. Hobbies? Video games?
Totally. Yeah.
Heavy metal?
Yep.
Face planning? Often.
I did so much of that. Replace longboard with skiing.
It's like that, right?
Without
Without-
yeah, that's right. Shadow, yeah. Yeah.
Alright. So we have 3 whales here. Who doesn't like video games?
I don't play video games.
Oh, not the ones.
You don't play? Okay.
I don't know where they are or what they are. They get you up there as well.
I think the age then is 45.
Instead of a whale, you get a crow.
Gandalf. Solution. Blah blah blah. Whiskas at Westpac. Far more than that. No video games. Heavy metal? No. Face plant? Nah.
Make it like longboard and cycling.
Longboard?
Yeah, get rid of longboard.
So get rid of this as well?
Yeah, make it cycling.
Cycling. Okay. Yeah, but then you have face planting.
Only once. You earn an obscene amount of money. No, I think you will do that.
Gano at Sona. I don't know why, but every time that I look at you, I remember Gano. Okay, so now what we need to do is something like.
Is it wrapped in a ray?
This is ES7.
Ah, yeah, you're right. It is wrapped in an array.
No.
It's not. Sorry about that.
That's what you call crowdsourcing.
Yeah.
Did you say ES7?
That is syntax.
Oh, right. You
Arrays.
don't need a
Arrays for free.
Oh wow. Everything's an array, just step forward.
I was trying to get the indentation, but don't have installed here.
Yeah, plug in there.
You lost your array.
Yeah. It's here. Okay. Now I need to filter all the whales. Normally, what we will do is something like get whales function people, right? Return now we need to iterate in all people and get everyone that have salary with more than 10,000 and like video games, right?
You gotta change
You
one.
need a temporary array, of course.
Exactly. People for each function person. If person dot salary is bigger than this and
Like spacebar thing.
no, this is the first filter, right? Then we have to do person dot hobbies dot for each function hobby if hobby equals video game result push person. Am I right? Awesome.
Good break because I lock it twice.
Get whales people.
Return the result.
Aha. So we have Raphael, Devin, and Michael, right? So let's say Michael is poor. Let's test it.
Cheap labor, man. Cheap labor.
So it is working, right? Raphael, Devin, and that's it, right? So this code works. Yeah. This works. But how can I change this ugly stuff here? Well, I can do a little bit of magic with Lodash, right? Var get whale salary Lodash.filter first value filter person, yeah, people function person return person.salary bigger than 10,000. The filter function on Lodash filters all predicates that are true. So if it is it keeps all the ones that predicates are true. It filters out the ones that are false. So if I have like for example, in this particular case, only Michael will be filtered out. The other ones will be sustained on the array. And I don't need to do that anymore. And then I can do filter, and then after that I can use whales this is possible whales, and then I can iterate on possible whales, right? And then I don't have to use this. Anymore. Then I can have the same result, basically. So Raphael and Devin, right? But I can enhance a little bit more. Instead of doing this, I can do result dot push person dot filter person dot hobbies function hobby return hobby video games. I think it's not filter, it's no, it's not like that. I have to do like if contains person of hobbies video games, then result dot push person. So it's a little bit different, but it's a little bit simplified as well. So it is the same. Raphael and Devin. I would just, instead of use JSON stringify, I would just put
So an extra brace in possible ways.
an extra brace. No, just create a map.
There's one on the function person declaration just on screen.
Yeah, I would just put. The only thing that I'll do is I'll just push name, person name, so I don't need to JSON stringify anything. Yeah, I can. We just display an array. So Raphael and Devin, right? This is a little bit easier to do, but then I can create something even cleaner. That it will be return chain people dot filter function person return person dot salary bigger than 10,000.
Why are you creating a git salary? Why are you creating a git salary?
Yeah, it can. I can do that, but wait a little bit. Then contains. No, I don't. I cannot use chain here because I'm using a nested thing here. So it is like this, and person dot and contains person dot hobby video games. So then map function person return person dot name, right? Oh, person dot salary bigger than 10,000 and contains
This chain.
value. Yeah, you're right.
Value.
Dot value. Every time that you use chain, you need to use dot value. No, it's not that.
But yeah, you're right. You do need to use dot value.
Person's salary bigger than 10,000. Okay.
Is
This
chain doing what you think it's doing?
it is. Well, I can do this, and I don't need to use chain. So this one return person salary and contains
Hobbies.
typo. Yeah. So it's simplified a little bit, but as I already told Michael sometimes, then you can start extracting functions. Oops, person dot name. Does it work? Yeah, it works. Then you can transform this into var apply whale comparison function person function salary return get salary.
a really good example actually, discussion with the guy we're talking about where this would have made readability much better in terms of like here we say there was an equation or there was a rule where it was like if this is undefined and doesn't then equals something, and it's like that 4 rows with hands everywhere else. It's like, well, if you just move that out to a function and then change it, it's just like, well, you know, it's always going to fail on whichever one's first because it lands and people go to read it and the guy's like,
So
but it's something that just looks like really heavily refactored things. A lot of the code was just refactored out.
yeah.
The benefit being is that when you use that one little function again, you've already
Exactly.
written it, it's correct, so you know that it works.
Then you have something like
Yeah, it is. I mean, it also means that when someone, like, you always got to think about, if someone else looks at this code,
You might need more time in define an iteration as well.
Yeah, we can bump that up.
But the approach is, it's true that it's just refactoring, but the approach is pretty different. Like using the chaining and then calling a filter function and calling a match function.
Yeah.
More up here on
it's
Like, you could do that with any language, but the way that the kind of manner of
And
thinking that is like,
for
take this
get hobbies.
big array of data,
Person
whittle it down in this fashion.
return person dot hobbies. Yep.
doing test-based development, and you end up writing function types.
Exactly.
So, like, so that's just
Then I change the code.
so it's just
Why don't you hoist the new functions?
so they copy.
Why do you file?
It's just
So it's just flagging that so Lodash.
I didn't hoist. That's the only get hobbies. Person.
Yeah, so Lodash is a more performant version of so Lodash people will wrap it so it has methods like function like map and stuff. So Lodash is its own library, but it has all the methods and
No, it was pretty much that
underscore.
following the linear
Gotcha.
flow,
Yeah, but
we are proposing, we have designed a linear.
So I refactored in kind of like this, right?
The user might need to jump from different questions.
Then map get name, right? So
Yeah, that's
same stuff so far.
But then again, he's saying that the comments from the users is around the yes and no buttons are too large and restricted.
Then we can extract.
Yeah.
Scrolling.
Yeah, but the
Then we
issue
can
there is
extract this one
and gives it those extra functions.
to the filter.
Or accidentally.
Like just manual stuff.
No, but
What happens
it's not,
if you just
that's not
return
good feedback.
underscore and
He
then
would have said that
just
in here,
return the
but
map?
it was
Is that
feedback.
just the
He
array?
didn't say that in there.
How it
So
works?
can be big reports, i.e. user feedback of users.
If you just return what?
So the result of underscore wrap
fire.
is just the array
Yes,
itself?
no buttons.
No, it's a
He
wrapper.
didn't say anything about the users struggling
Same
to
as the
navigate
result
around.
jQuery.
He said all
Yeah.
they've done is they
Alright.
Apply whale filtering. Apply salary.
Oh, no. No, which is the change.
And whale
That's a complete
Same object,
That's
different
not-
symbol.
It's not a progress bar. It's more like a completion bar.
No.
Within that, so it's easy to be able to jump easily at each section as possible.
Yeah, but that's because
Out of what has been instructed.
So
yeah, that's because
this is a this is a little bit more elaborate.
Yep. Yeah, that one scenario, which is cool.
Blobs, right? It's blobs.
Yeah.
That's nice.
But then
it also
we-
assumes a lot of like understanding of those underscore libraries.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little, like a decent amount.
And I'll go out.
That's just a little. It's map,
Yeah.
filter.
But I don't know what I'm building.
Because map, what map does do? If you check what map do, it creates a new result based on what you are iterating. for each position that you're iterating. And filter, it keeps on the array everything that you passes on the condition as true.
I mean, I'm talking about Lodash itself. It has like
Oh yeah, it has tons of things. Like for example, you can create.
that knowledge.
For example, you can create something like this. Instead of doing this, right? You can see that this and this, I can kind of like compose.
Because I can't do anything else without research.
Yeah,
I can do kind of like bar apply whale comparison with salary.
Worst case scenario just need to be redesigned.
Yeah.
Compose
That's the equation.
What it means that for your job. Break it down.
get salary,
This isn't really can do it in like 0.0.
get whale,
No, I'm just
Whereas there isn't a worst case scenario. I don't. There is no
apply whale
This
comparison.
requirement. This requirement right now is so vague that it could be any possible thing. And if it is either of them, any of them, I don't know whether it could be because we don't have detail that each one.
So I can use
We don't know if it's a navigation problem. We don't know if it's a problem. What?
we don't know.
We don't even know if it's even a problem. We know there's something potentially there. That's all we know.
Yeah. The only thing that they have so far is sometimes they might be having on yes or no button instead of scrolling.
I don't remember the order, but I think it's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like something else.
No, it's not.
That's a big
Get salary have to be before.
Something about the data structure and the data structure.
This is part of it, right? You're assuming that
Yeah.
What does compose do?
Compose, it applies the result of applying, like, because if you think about compose,
So it calls that function with the result as well.
yeah, exactly. Like the code that was before was like this, right? Get salary, and the result of get salary being applied on apply whale comparison, right?
Estimate
So
all design for something that I don't
compose
even know what it is.
applies the result of this to this function.
Calls that function with the
Yeah.
result of that.
So apply whale comparison with salary. I just pass a person, and it will do everything. So it gives you a little bit more readability, and reuse as well, because you are composing something and you can always apply it to a person
If you are
that
doing
particular function, and it will always have the same result.
right,
And the same for contains video games as hobbies, because it's get hobbies and person and contains video games as hobbies. So I can create another like contains video games from
yes,
Otherwise,
hobbies, not as hobbies.
asking him is going to be some indication that it's not what a foil problem
For
is.
sure I can do only this.
You know what I mean?
yes,
Contains video game.
worst case scenario would be
Right?
depend.
So instead of doing this, what I'll do is
No, don't think in the navigation.
compose,
Thinking potentially after research
Contains
you
video
discover
game.
a problem related with scrolling and not navigation. It's like
It's
you have a
get
workflow
hobbies.
that doesn't fit with the user work.
so the result of this function applied to person will be applied on this one. So it's kind of like a chain, right? But I'm creating this as a composable function,
If it is there,
and
If you-
instead of
if
having
you
that, I'll have
can,
this
produce that as
person.
something like, well, I'm assuming the problem is
and
we have
Ooh,
a workflow,
let's put the token.
a form that doesn't fit the user workflow. We need to think about
Yeah, right, you're right.
Yeah,
there's a workflow, a form to fit with that. That necessarily
it's the same stuff,
Not
right?
necessarily means that we need to add another interface element or interactive
So I
element.
think we can stop on this because we already refactored a lot. We could not cover promises. That's my fault because I was in New Zealand stuff. You know? But maybe we can do something about that next week, right? Because the next level is kind of like, because everything here is synchronous programming, right? And the next step will be applying promises to have a synchronous program on the same level of thinking, right?
And Aspire is not linear at all.